I can get started with the problems then. So the first and then if you want the problem statements, I'll link a way to access those like in the chat later, I think. So the first problem is majority opinion. And the question basically asks if so you have an array of all right, you have you have an array A where A of I denotes the type of hay that cow I likes. And what you can do is in one operation, you can select a subarray from L to R. And within that subarray, if there is a type of hay that occurs as strictly the majority or occurs strictly more than uh, L plus R over 2 times, then you can make all of the cows in that range like that particular type of hay. And the question is, for out you have to output all the different types of hay such that after applying this operation a couple of times, you can apply it as many times as you want. You can make all the cows in the array like this particular type of hay. For instance, one of the sample inputs is the array 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2. And for instance, in this array, if we select select our interval from uh, we select our interval from 1 to 5, we can choose this giant interval here, and we can make all the cows here. We can make all the cows in this range. So we picked 1 to 5. We can make all the cows in this range like hay type 1. And this is the result after applying the operation. And then if we select the entire array in our next operation, we can make every single cow like hay of type 1. And you can see that a similar thing is true, that you can make all the cows like hay type 2 as well. So what you can so the first important thing that you can observe for this problem is that if you have 2 cows in a row, they can little by little, let's just say these are all 2. And so on and so forth. If you have these 2 cows that are next to each other and they're the same type of hay, you can little by little force the entire array to be that particular type of hay. For instance, if you select your interval here, afterwards you now have 3 cows who all like this type of hay. And if you select or alternatively, you can select an interval here, and you'll have these 4 cows who like this type of hay. So in particular, if there's 2 cows in a row that like a type of hay, you can select a third cow on either end and convince the third cow to also like that particular type of hay. So this covers this covers most of the cases. And the final thing is that if you have a case that is like this, you can select this array and make all the cows like hay type 1. And then afterwards you now have 2 cows that are next to each other, who are next to each other who like the same type of hay. So you can convince the entire all of the cows to like this particular type of hay as well. So basically, if no, the final solution that you arrive at is that if A of I is equal to A of I plus 1, or A of I is equal to A of I plus 2, where this is the index, not the value itself, then you can eventually make all the cows like A of I. And then this is also the full solution. So what you can do is you can enumerate all of the A of I from 1 to n. And for each A of I, you check this condition. And if it works, then you mark this type of hey as valid. And then otherwise, you don't do anything with it. And at the very end, you can iterate over all the valid types of hey. So this can be done either using an STD set or just a regular array as well. And yeah, that should be the full solution. So to just like as a recap, you notice that if you have two cows consecutive, or you have a cow that's in the you have two cows that are the same with one in the middle, then you can convince all the elements of the array to eventually be this particular type of hay. It's also worth mentioning that if this isn't true, it's always impossible. So, for instance, if we considered an array that looked like this, I'll use 2 instead of 0. 1, 2, 2, 1, and so on. It's never possible. So, since none of the ones are next to each other or spaced at least spaced at most 1 from each other, it's impossible to make 1 have the majority of any subarray. Because, for instance, if we picked this, 1 isn't a strict majority, it's only split even, so this wouldn't change anything. And if we had picked this instead, the same issue arises, where 1 is only 2 out of the 4, where you actually need 3 to change the entire array. Yeah. And then that's the full solution for the first problem.